Hello, this is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Today I want to talk about, my video today is about coming to the Philippines and expand on living and fixed income and how we're able to do that. I know that sometimes, well, from my experience, I was just ready to get out of there. And my mind was, I was tired of my bosses. I was tired of life there. I just couldn't wait to get out of there. And I sold everything I had, and I just, okay, I'm getting on a plane, and worst case scenario, if it's not well, I'll go somewhere else, and if nothing there, I'll just go back to the States. So I've always worked all my life hard, and so today, here's 20 points coming up, living in the Philippines on fixed income, and being an American in the Philippines, and what you need to look for, and how it's been going. I have 7 years plus here. I'm living here, and I got here in 15 and married in 16. So you're living here. The housing costs can be widely variable. You can live in a house for 100, 200, 300, depending on where it's at. Houses in the city is going to cost you a little bit more, but you can consider looking for houses outside the city and renting a room and an apartment instead of a full house. It depends on where your Filipino lives. More likely, if you just come in here vacation, you'll just go wherever you want to do, and you'll find good cheap housing to live inexpensively. Now, I'm going to say this: it has gone up considerably in this last 2 years. Housing's gone up. You can still find a place to live for $150, $200 a month. Sometimes a little less, and then you go in the city, it's going to cost you $300, $400, $500, $600, $800 or $1,000 a month, depending on where you want to live. You live in a condo for about $500, $600 a month. That's someone owning a condo and you rent it out, or you buy your condo, and it varies in prices from $250 and on up, $5,000 and up. But it's one small room, about 200 square feet, 20 by 20, something like that, and they vary, of course. And of course, when you're traveling around the Philippines, you're going to have transportation is going to be a lot cheaper than what you're used to. You're going to find it might be a little bit more complicated than what you're used to in the States because you can basically just get in the car and go. Here you can't. You can get in the car and go, but you're going to have multiple things that may deter you or stop you. You may get, for example, they're doing LTO checks now. So you go in the barangays in Mindinao, you'll be stopped many times because they're checking to make sure you have license and make sure your driver's license in check and make sure that you are all up to date on all your stickers and everything on your car, your emissions sticker, the whole 9 yards. So they're doing LTO checks this month, and before that it was just mainly checks. They're still stopping you for sometimes police checkpoints, and sometimes they're looking for somebody or something, and you have that. Now, they may not have it in Visayas, they may not have it over in other areas up in Luzon, but they do have it here where I live in Mindinao. Now, I live in Mindinao, and it's a big area. It goes from Davao to CDO. It's really big. Food prices in the Philippines, you're going to find that you may end up paying about the same prices. Some things are lower cost here, but food prices are really increased quite a bit. And it's like anything else, like for coffee, for example, you may end up paying more. I did check on Amazon, and I did check on eBay, and I did check on shipping items here, after ship, a lot of things. You can buy coffee and things there in the States and ship it here. The best thing to do is find somebody in the States to buy you the stuff that you want, the specialty items, coffee, tea, maybe fish oil pills, medicines, things like that. Protein powder is cheaper in the States. I pay $60 to $80 for a container, and it's half that in the States. There are things that you can actually save on that area, and you might end up, even if you're buying the buying box and shipping here, you're still going to save money on it, because shipping here can vary $8 to $10, $12, $15 added on an $8, $12, $15 product. And is it worth it? So you have to figure that out. Of course, entertainment here is a lot cheaper. You can do street fairs, festivals, things like that, culture events. But be prepared if you're out in the culture events. It's going to get hot, and it's going to be very hot. Bring your own chair. Always bring your own chair. No matter where you go, bring your own chair. I have a foldable chair. bring your foldable chairs, buy your camping gear, things like that you can put the umbrella up, because it's always outside. You're going to have to set outside, because you can't, a lot of times, a lot of events and things like that, you can't set inside a building, because 99.99999% there's no aircon, so you'll have to deal with that, which is fine. It's like anything else. Banking in the Philippines, there's another thing that people ask me about quite a bit, is banking. Consider opening up a bank account. You can do that if you have it. Some banks will let you open one up on tourist visa, but I found that it's sporadic, and you need to have some type of SRB and or permanent 13A to open up a bank account, and it's pretty simple. Just name, address, phone number, passport, and cash, and you're set and ready to rock and roll. Some require maybe get some other information, but a barangay clearance or something like that. Usually it's pretty simple. And prepare, when you go somewhere here and you do something like that, prepare to take most of the day, because there's usually a line at the banks. It's amazing to me. How can there be so many people open up accounts at a bank? I'm amazed. Every time I go to open up an account. Now, we're going to open up one for me, and decide against it. I don't need an account. What do I need an account for? I really don't need no checking account. Ruth's got a couple, and that's all we need. So banking in the Philippines, you have to prepare for that. Internet and phone service. You can actually get phone service that works here and works in the States. And it's called GOMO. It's owned by Globe, and I've used it in USA. Not GOMO, but I've used Globe's services in USA, and actually was cheaper than what I could get with Straight Talk, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile at that time. This was 3 years ago. So when I was there in the States. So you have to really be prepared for that. And people think, but Tom, it's been a while since you've been back to the States. No, it's not 3 years. Has it changed? It has. It's changed a lot. States have changed a lot. But I found that it's how you look at things. I look at things a lot differently than I did when I first arrived here. I looked at things really differently. I disliked the USA. I disliked it 100%. But after going back, I realized I had rose-colored glasses on, because you're coming to a country that the infrastructure is not stable. We had 4 power outages yesterday here where I'm at, 3 the day before. We always have something going on. Internet's on and off. Water was out. So there's always something that you got to. It's a country that's not has any stability. And so what happens with that, and so if you get an item at a store, you may not find it next time. I'm not talking negative. You just have to be prepared for this here. And if you're prepared for it, shout out. Good for you. A lot of guys are, a lot of guys aren't. A lot of guys come and they go back, and they secretly go back, and they don't tell you they go back, because I'm coming. I've been waiting 5 years to get here. And I talked to a guy the other day. His name is Byron, and he lives in Oklahoma, and he came here. 5 years came, and then he decided he just didn't like it. He was more used to the convenience. He missed the convenience. Go get a cup of coffee, go talk to Joe, go have some coffee down at a restaurant, which you can do the same here. But you are not have availability to go down to Walmart and then go to Lowe's and Home Depot and shoot back the house and fix wherever you need to fix. Go buy fencing. Here, if you go buy fencing, it's usually an all-day affair, believe me. I just went and bought fencing recently, I know that. It's 5 stops, 3 hours trying to find fencing. But you have to think about that, convenience. So, and he actually went back secretly to the States, and I emailed him, and he said, yeah, I went back. I said, why didn't you tell me? I said, I was embarrassed and ashamed. Because I said, who cares? Who cares? So you didn't like it, you went back, who cares? A lot of guys going to Mexico. They love Mexico. And even though people are saying there's 2 states in Mexico that's really causing the trouble there, and the other are fine. The climate in the Philippines is tropical, which you can be getting used to from the colder climate. So if you're used to colder climate, but you can actually, if you want to live cooler, you can actually go places like Malabalay. You can live in Baguio. There's many places. Lantapan here is a beautiful place. Lorega, a beautiful place going to Davao. It's cooler temperatures. I mean, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's clouds there. So, I mean, you're up in the clouds. So it's really nice. But if you're going to live on the beach, be prepared for tropical storms and things like that, and typhoons, Safety, like any country, Philippines has a share of safety concerns. Be mindful of your surroundings. Stay safe. Avoid certain areas at night. I just eliminate, don't go out at night. And I've learned this from experience that it's best for me as a for me personally, where I'm at, where I live, not to go out at night. But if I'm in Davao, I can go out at night. But I always have, I just want to make sure I have someone with me that's my family or something like that. And, you know, and be careful about carrying large amounts of cash. People don't realize, don't carry large amounts of cash. Now, healthcare in the Philippines, you heard me talk about this many times. Healthcare is something that we all been dealing with. I found a good doctor in town. I can go see him now. It's going to cost me just a few bucks to see him, and then he'll prescribe whatever I need to do. And so it saves me from going to the hospital. It's a clinic, a U.S. clinic now, and I'm so happy about it that I can do that. Now, just be prepared for that. If you can't find a local clinic, a local place to go, find one. Because you don't want to be going to the hospital. If you have a problem with care, you don't want to go to the hospital. And make sure you get all that worked out before. The first and foremost thing, you boots on the ground here, is find you an attorney and find you a doctor. Don't worry about anything else. Because even though you're healthy and in good shape, find a doctor first, find an attorney. And the reason for the attorney is you're going to always need him for some kind of documents and or papers and or something here if you're a foreigner. My attorney now is my best friend, and he still is. The guy is just great. He won't charge me a dime for anything that I do. So I always make sure to take care of his family and his and the girls in the office. So when we come, we bring donuts and whatever else, just because he just charges me nothing to do my paperwork and notarize my papers and whatever. I need a letter, he types it out, which I've needed many. Living here, you're going to find you're going to need a lot of stuff just in general, just to live here, and you need to find those first. Now, education here in the Philippines is generally affordable. If you have a child or someone going to school, it's going to cost you anywhere from $100 a month to $300 a month, depending on the school, the private schools. I ended up paying on average about I'd say $150 per private school for my daughter. That includes door-to-door pickup and includes books and all the stuff at that particular time. Now this is all done by laptops and or phones and things and gadgets now, because we're in the gadget age because of what happened with the pandemic. So you can actually, the smart thing to do was take your time and with that and find the right school for her. We're transferring, or again, this would be her third or fourth transfer. We're trying to a Christian school, but the school she's at is not really applicable for her. She's picking up bad words, you know, things like that. It's not really a good school for her. It's Central Mindinao University. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. I don't love it at all. I think it's not necessarily a good school. The teachers are there part of the time. I mean, went to school 6 days in December. Went to school 6 days in December. January, she went to school 8 days in January. February, she went to school 9 days or 10 days in February. March, I'm not really quite sure. I forgot what it is. I think it's 12 days. Got 12 out of the 20. Okay. No holidays. Just life, okay? And so they're always dancing and fiestas, and there's a project going. Now as a project going now, they're going to be singing all day today. They sang 2 days, 3 days last week, put on a dance. So as you can see, I don't know when they get schoolwork done. I think they just rush, do more. They're more of art studio than anything. Retirement benefits. Make sure you have retirement benefits from the state Social Security. You can still receive them while living in the Philippines, but make sure you make sure you have the appropriate addresses and things like that for banking. I keep mine all back in the States because this is so much better for me. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I don't have to worry about banks there. People said the banks in the U.S. I would worry now. I would tend to worry more about the banks here. There's so many horror stories where the guys taking money, and we, as you guys know, we've had horror stories in the past ourselves. So I would just honestly, to be honest, it's better to keep your money where you know, and if you're an American, keep your money in America. If you come money here, a guy just wrote me. He lost $3,000. Another guy lost $10,000 last week. They wrote me. They had it in BDO Bank. One had BPI Bank. They go to get money out. One guy had $3,000 in the bank down in Duma. This other guy in Valencia City had $10,000 in the bank, and he lost. It's gone. Where did it go? Internal. Gone. Or they get it back? No. The banks are not no guarantees. They don't have any. They have FDIC for economy goes bad, world comes to an end, something happens, they'll insure it up to $5,000, as you know, but getting the money back is gone. So be careful. So many horror stories, guys. I decided not to put all these horror stories online because people were saying I was getting a little bit more negative, but I'm bombarded by so many people, getting sick and stuck in hospitals. I'm bombarded by that by many of my bloggers. Taxes. Living abroad, you may still be able to require to pay taxes in the States, of course. If you're making sure you're making over the amount of money that you need to make, you may end up paying taxes, so make sure you do that, and I did do that. I paid taxes the first 2 years I was here. It wasn't a lot, but I did get some money back, and so be prepared for that because I retired at 60. Visa extensions. If you plan on staying in the Philippines, make sure that you get your visas extended. When I talked to Paul from the United States Embassy, he was telling me that the number two thing, the first thing was the hospitals. They were getting too many, having problems with people in the hospitals not being able to pay their bills, and they had to get the Americans out. Number two was on this list was visas. That people that actually come from the United States think that they don't have to renew their visas. Then after a period of time, you're blacklisted. I actually know an American that never paid his visa extensions. And right now he is 10 years over on his visa. Why didn't you pay it? Now you can't pay it. So now he's wanting to pay it because he's wanting to go back to the States because of insurance, because he's elderly and he can't afford the insurance. Well, there's no insurance here. He can't afford to pay it out of his pocket, okay? So he's looking to go back to the States and live with his sister. They're both elderly. And he can't get out of here because he has to. So they're negotiating price. Best thing to do is hire an attorney, have them negotiate the price of that because they can negotiate it and work it out with the Bureau of Immigration. I don't know how much it ended up being. It was a large sum of money that he's going to end up paying, but overall, it's better for him, as he said, because I can go back to the States. I can interact with my family. I can get back because I still have family alive there. I still have grandchildren there. And he said it was really a bad thought of mine thinking that I could come here and he ended up losing his wife that was here. She left him for another guy, another Filipino. Not saying that this guy did wrong. I don't know the whole story, but anyway, she's not in a relationship anymore. He's alone and he doesn't want to date anymore. Technology in the Philippines is available. Of course, you're going to find that there's many things that you're going to have, and you can actually bring all your necessary electronics with you. And make sure you bring a step up, a step down transformer for a lot of your equipment, like printers and things like that, because I burn up a brand new Brother printer, laser printer, and I burn it up because I couldn't get it to work. Language barriers. You're going to have sometimes language because people speak Visaya, Tagalog. There's hundreds and hundreds of different languages. Cebuano, Ilocano. Particularly, they're going to ask you, how come you don't understand Visaya? And they're going to ask this. Best thing to do, they say it's English speaking. There are a lot of people that speak English, but it's broken English. You'll find that people will shy away from you because they don't want to speak language to you or English to you because they're not really into speaking that. So you'll have to kind of figure out that language barrier as far as that goes. I've had to do it. It's always better to have someone around. You can hire a tourist, a lady to help you. There are many people that will take you around. There are many people that will show you around and show you what life is about. There's many agencies around. You just pay them a fee a day, like 500 pays, $10 a day, and they'll take you around and show you all the things that you need to see and get you set up. So you can set that up too. If you're coming here alone and you don't have anybody and you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have a boyfriend, whatever, and you want to get hooked up with that, you can. And it'll actually save you a lot in the long run. Sorry for this video going on so long, but I had to get these points off. And Omer's driving me crazy. I don't know why. God bless everybody, and I'll see you guys next time on Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures.